Even if you're a devoted UH fan, you'll need a roster for spring football. There have been a number of changes. One of the most noticeable, the new listing for receiver Greg Salas.
Here's a highlight for Warrior spring football, the breakaway play of Greg Salas, who took it to the house and then added some NBA flair.
We were happy. I was ready to go run and go dunk one after our first touchdown. So
the 6'2" sophomore should be a step ahead now that he's running with the first team.
Greg's doing a fantastic job. You know, he's a guy that we're counting on to make plays.
While his game remains the same, his number is different. Last year, Salas lined up as number 36. This year, he's taken a number that comes with some big shoes to fill. Of course, he asked permission first.
Just try to take on, keep pushing this number to be a great number.
What exactly did you say to him?
I just went up to him, hanging out. It's like, I'm thinking about taking one next year. He's like, go for it.
See, 1 is not the loneliest number in football, but it does come with high expectations when it follows Ryan Grice-Mullen, who just so happened to catch the new number 1 at practice on Wednesday.
He asked me earlier, a couple months ago that he was going to be wearing it, so, it's all right. He's from the same hometown that I am, so as long as he represents and, wear it proudly.
Salas says Grice-Mullen was part of the inspiration behind the change, plus he wore the same number in high school. And there's one more perk.
I like to say, hey, I'm number 1. People assume you're a good player if you say that, so.
Grice-Mullen says he's in town to rehab a pulled hamstring, but is feeling okay and back training. As for the upcoming draft, Grice-Mullen is listed a mid to late round pick on ESPN.com. He, along with fellow UH receiver Devon Best, decided to test the waters in the pros as juniors. So far, Grice-Mullen says the feedback has been good. Many teams seem pleasantly surprised by his speed. He clocked a 4.33 in the 40-yard dash earlier this month.
It's kind of funny. A lot of teams thought I was slower than I really was. So, at the pro day and running my time, that helped a lot. A lot of teams maybe, might want to, use me on the outside instead of the slot, or even both. So, that's just, good for me, more of an asset, to a team.
Staying with the pigskin, it's a new era for Warrior football, and it's not just new faces under the helmets. Half the coaching staff begins their first year in Manoa. However, 2 of them are already pretty familiar with the system. There won't be much of a learning curve for quarterbacks coach Nick Rolovich and offensive line coach Brian Smith. That's because the 2 first-year UH coaches played with the Warriors less than 10 years ago.
It's just great to be back in Hawaii, and the offense is the same, and that all helps the transition be much easier.
You really can't beat getting a chance to coach back at your alma mater, where I was playing here not too long ago.
Almost 3 weeks of spring ball have passed, and the coaching duo feel their past experience as players and coaches will help them lead the new crop of Warriors.
Less than a year ago, I was playing arena football, but I was coaching in the off-season and playing in the arena season, so that probably helped the transition. Half year coaching, half year playing.
Everything's real familiar here, so it's easier to really jump in and get going right away.
And despite their new roles, they still feel that itch of throwing on the pads and showing off their stuff.
Threw one ball today. I said, I was going to not throw a ball while I was out here, but I just grabbed one and threw one, and it felt good. Just like throwing it still.
No question, there gets that itch. Things aren't going well. There's always that urge to want to do it for them. But, as a coach, you really can't do that, and, you just have to coach your guys up harder and be more demanding.
And speaking of familiar faces, there's one hiding under that towel there. Former receiver and NFL hopeful Ryan Grice-Mullen showed up to Warrior practice this morning. He took some time to talk with his former teammates and even spoke with the media. And he told us he felt a little strange not being involved in the drills.
It's kind of weird, not being out here in practice. Just feel like, like I'm injured or a day I took off or something like that. But that's why I came back to get away, after the pro day and all that. I figured, what better place to come back to a place I know and call home. So it's good to be back. A little hot out here, but I better get used to it because never know where I'm going to end up.
Now, our GM says he's keeping hush about teams that have shown interest in him, but he did confirm he's been getting some phone calls. The NFL draft is scheduled for next Saturday, April 26. Jason Tang, K5 News.
Hello, everybody. Let's talk sports. Thanks to an undefeated regular season and a Sugar Bowl appearance by the UH football team, the University of Hawaii is set to receive just under $4.4 million from the Bowl Championship Series. The money will reach UH sometime later this summer. Now the question is, what to do with it? After expenses, about $2.2 million will remain. UH Manoa Chancellor Virginia Hinshaw was a guest on the PBS Hawaii show Leahy and Leahy, which airs later tonight, and was asked about where the money will go. She says she's been consulting with Manoa Athletics Director Jim Donovan.
He wants to use part of it to address deficit issues, and then some for equipment, and he's working on things that we can do for the whole campus. Certainly one that's high on our list is the Cook Field in that area, because that's used by intramurals, ROTC, the band, Special Olympics. So that's one that I have at the top of my priority list.
According to reports, the athletic department has amassed roughly $4.4 million in accumulated debt. Donovan has said $1.5 million of the BCS money will likely go to just balancing this year's athletic budget. There is another athletics-related issue on Hinshaw's desk, and that's of the money owed to the university from former Warrior football coach June Jones. Jones' UH contract stated that if he left to another college program before the expiration of that deal, he'd have to pay Hawaii $400,000. His agent has since claimed that Jones, now at SMU, had a verbal agreement with former AD Herman Frazier to waive that payment responsibility.
And in contracts, you agree to terms, and you sign them, and then you implement the conditions of the contracts. They're working with the lawyers now to figure that out, so that's their job at this point. But you have to have written agreements, not verbal agreements.
Meanwhile, the UH football team under current head coach Greg McMackin continues to roll through spring drills, and this morning a special guest viewed things from the sideline. Former Warrior receiver Ryan Grice Mullins in town awaiting his pro future as the NFL draft looms just 10 days away.
I've been training hard every morning, 6 days a week. So, you know, I definitely did all I can do, and now, you know, it's just a waiting game, you know. So just put everything into God's hands now. It's kind of funny. A lot of teams thought I was slower than I really was. So, you know, at the pro day and running my time, that helped a lot, you know. You know, a lot of teams maybe, you know, might want to, you know, use me on the outside instead of the slot, so, or even both. So, you know, that's just, you know, good for me, more of an asset, you know, to a team. So. I'm just looking for the opportunity just to get in camp, you know, like everybody else, and try to make a squad.
RGM made a statement at his pro day in Carson, California early this month, running a 4.33 40-yard dash. But today he was checking out the current Warriors and says all the questions about the offense, specifically the receiving core, sounds pretty familiar.
I mean, we was that same way 3 years ago, so, you know, anything can happen. You know, it's just what you do, you know, what they do from now to when season start, you know, that's going to be the big factor. As long as they, you know, come together and work hard and, you know, try to make every play. That's what we went into every game, trying to make every play. So they do that, they should be okay.
The NFL draft is April 26th and 27th.
Continue to work with quarterbacks under center. And RGM likes seeing Greg Salas represent, wearing his former #1 jersey.
You know, he asked me earlier a couple months ago that he was going to be wearing it. So, you know, it's all right. You know, he's from the same hometown I am. So as long as he represents and, you know, wear it proudly.
You know, he taught me a few things just like about football, being a freshman, you know, about waiting for my time, you know. But I learned a lot, you know, definitely a lot from him.
The guys are so happy because we've been struggling. And, you know, for now, we take any kind of, you know, just get in the end zone. We'll address how we're going to act, but I can see it being the first one. They don't know what to do, you know, but we're just happy. We were happy. I was ready to go run and go dunk one after our first touchdown.
Offensive coordinator Ron Lee didn't mind Salas dunking the ball. Also didn't mind seeing the running game continue to develop. Now, for the first time this spring, Warriors offense did take some snaps in the shotgun formation this morning, and the defense continued to make plays. Like this one. Tyler Grunke's pass got tipped by linebacker R.J. Kizo-Kauhane and picked off by safety Keao Monte.
So I'm looking for a tip ball. I'm looking for anything, any turnover.
All right, after the interception, we saw a little bit of dancing out of you. All right, I talked to your pops. He says you need some work on your dancing skills.
Yeah, you know, I'm not this kind of, you know, I don't dance on the field. I dance other places, like, you know, at home. I'll dance in the mirror. This was my fake moves. I got some real moves at home. I do it at home.
How do you feel about his dancing skills?
he had a lot to go on dancing, but that's how he enjoys himself, and you know, and that's how the kids have fun out here.
Now, spring drills resume tomorrow morning at 7. Team has a scrimmage scheduled for Saturday afternoon.